flew like right here and over there. I don't know, but it was scary. The girls knew first, and I'm like, what is wrong with them? They started being like this, and next thing I know, this hawk comes right through, like, over my head. Like, so just as I click record to record this video for you guys, a hawk literally flies over my head, so close to my head that I could feel the wind from his wings. And my girls are terrified for good reason. They're staying right under cover, and gosh, that was scary. That was scary. My husband heard me scream and ran outside to see what was going on. Oh my gosh, you guys, that was terrifying. You okay, babe? You okay? They're just peeking out from under the coop. They are pretty scared right now. One of the roosting bars got pulled out because I think somebody was sitting on there, and then once, you know, the hawk came through. But yeah, they saw him like way before I did, because as soon as I turned on that video, they like started fluttering. I'm like, oh gosh, what's going on there? Chasing each other, or, you know, just being silly. And then the hawk flies just over my head. So yikes. Okay, so the video that I was intending to film is a Canna video, and what I wanted to show you guys is how I break my cannas down for winter. I am only going to do this on one pot because I'm not ready to break the others down. It's a little early, but this particular pot is looking awful. It suffered a lot of Japanese beetle damage, and it just has been growing really well for me. And I also want to use these pots for fall plantings. I was thinking of putting some mums in there. So I want to get the pots emptied and then get these cannas ready for winter storage, and then show you guys how to do it. Hopefully no more hawks will come through and scare the crap out of me and the girls. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so it's not going to come out of the pot. Let's see what I could do. Back this way. Okay, so that's not going to work. Alright, so that's not going to work. We're just going to cut the foliage down. So I tried to get the plant all the way out of the pot. That's how I prefer to do it, but it was difficult just because of the shape of the pot and that the plant had already rooted all the way down. So I did the best that I could. I cut off the foliage and then dug around and pulled out the roots. I probably should or could have used a shovel, but I didn't want to damage the rhizomes. So I pulled everything out that I found, and then the second step, which is optional, actually this will be the third. So the first step is to either dig it up. If you have it in ground, dig it up. If you have it in a pot, get it out of the pot. Second step, cut off the foliage, mix and match those steps however. And then now, which is optional, which I typically don't do, but I'm going to do it today because I just want to show you guys what these rhizomes look like. But it is to hose off the soil. Now you can always just let these dry off dry out with the soil on them, that's fine, and then just kind of dust that soil off once it's completely dry. But today I'm gonna hose them off. I don't typically do that, but I'm gonna do it today. Okay, so all of the canna tubers are cut, rinsed, and I want to show you guys some different bits and why I would keep them and why I would not. So the first piece is right here, and I will not be keeping this piece because of this portion here. Now you can actually take this off, cut it off. There is a healthy piece right here where you see the white part. So I could easily like take this, rip that off of there, and then keep this to dry it, but I'm not going to. It's such a tiny little piece. Well, maybe. I mean, it's got some growth points here. Let's see if I can get that to focus. There we are. So it's got a growth point here and here. So it would be a good piece to keep. It's just so tiny, I'm not going to bother with it. And then this definitely, it's squishy, it's dark, the inside, see how the inside looks? Does not look healthy. So this is trash. There's such a small node on this that I don't find that this is worth keeping, so this will actually be trash. That's why I didn't cut this off. It's so small, it probably wouldn't even make it over winter, so I'm going to toss that. Then you've got, and now we've got this piece here, which is nice, healthy, looks amazing. This piece is definitely a keeper. So this would go in the pile to dry and store. So we've got a chunky piece here. This is what it looks like. It does have this piece right here, but it feels pretty hard. So I'll leave it on there. I could also break this off, but I think this piece is a good candidate to dry and see if it survives. You can break off these little nubs. If they come off, that's fine. If you decide to keep them, that's great. They all kind of grow like a clump, and you could easily break off these little pieces and they could be their own canna. They'll grow their own plant. So I got a bunch of tiny little pieces that look healthy and great. What you're going to want to do from this point on, you are going to want to have these rhizomes in a place where they can get like a breeze, airflow. You want them to completely dry. They should not look desiccated, but they should still be plump but dry. And once they are dry, you don't see any moisture anywhere, that's where you want to put them in a brown paper bag like you would for a grocery store. And you want to store them in there and put them in a spot in your home that stays cool and stays dry. You want to make sure that it's not dipping too far below, I would say anything close to freezing. You want to avoid those type of temperatures. And then you also want to avoid warmer temperatures because you don't want them to wake up prior to when you're ready to use them. So I store mine in a brown paper bag. I keep them in a closet in a room that is pretty cool. Your basement should work fine. And then they stay stored. Typically, these ones I'm working on early, but usually they get dried and stored in October, and I wake them back up in February of the following year. They wake up pretty easy. They wake up a lot faster than elephant ears. And then what I do is I get like a nursery pot, put some soil in, put the canna in, water it in, and then allow that plant to wake up on its own. I store it in a room that's warm, that has some lighting. It doesn't necessarily have to have direct lighting on the pot when you're planting it, because there's nothing there to absorb that light. But once you see growth above the soil, that's where you want to start regularly watering. You can start fertilizing, and you'll want to put it in bright indirect lighting. But as far as storage, it's so easy. Check on them every once in a while during winter, just to make sure that they have not rotted or like dried up and aren't usable anymore. I can show you guys when these are actually dry. I'll share that in a different video. But if you have any questions about what you saw today, let me know. I'll be happy to help you. But the process for the cannas is the same as the process for elephant ears. It's exactly the same. You dig them up, you cut off the foliage, cut off the roots, let them dry out, and then you store them in cool, dry. You don't want to store them in freezing because that'll kill them, and you don't want to store them too warm because that will wake them up. Alright guys, so let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!